Tire specifications. The tire is specified by the following: width, at the widest point when the tire is inflated to the correct pressure. Diameter, this is the same as the rim diameter. A code number giving speed rating. In case of radial tires, the speed rating code becomes SR, HR or VR. SR indicates speeds up to 170 kilometers per hour. HR and VR indicates speeds up to 210 kilometers per hour. For crossply, the speed ratings are coded as S or H. PR represents the number of plies in a tire. Let us now discuss about wheel balancing. Due to radial lateral runout of the wheel and unequal distribution of the vehicle weight about the axis of the rotation causes the tire and wheel assembly to be unbalanced. With today's highway speeds, even a slight unbalance can cause wheel tramp, that is wheel hopping up and down, or wheel shimmy, that is shaking from side to side. Wheel assembly must be in both static and dynamic balance. Let us discuss about static balance. To be in static balance, the weight mass. Weight mass means the quantity of weights which we are adding to the wheel must be evenly distributed around the axis of rotation. A wheel in static balance will remain in any position, whereas static unbalanced wheel will cause the heavy side to rotate to the bottom. The figure shows a statically unbalanced wheel. The wheel is brought into static balance by clipping weights to the rim opposite side to the heavy side. If more than 56 gram of weight is required, the weight should be split by 2 halves and added to the either side of the rim. Dynamic balance. To be in dynamic balance, weight mass must be in a same plane as the center line of the rim. The figure shows a wheel and a tire assembly that is dynamically unbalanced. Here the weight mass center line fails to coincide with the plane of the wheel center line. When the wheel rotates, centrifugal force attempts to force the weight mass to align with the wheel center line. Since the direction of the force is one way on one side of the assembly, it causes the wheel to shimmy as shown in the figure. Dynamic balance is corrected by adding wheel balance weights in accounts sufficient to bring the weight mass and wheel center lines into the same plane. The figure C shows the dynamically balanced wheel, and note down how weight mass and wheel center lines coincide. When the wheel rotates, there is no shimmy, which is shown in the figure D. Before balancing, check wheel and tire runout. Always the tire should be statically balanced first and then balanced dynamically. Vulcanizing. It is a method of sealing a punctured tube which exits in a tire. It is the process of heating the vulcanizing rubber to a temperature between 120 and 150 degrees centigrade. A temperature of 128 degrees centigrade is considered the best. The vulcanizing heat is either by electricity or gasoline. The vulcanizing tube is thoroughly cleaned and roughened around the hole. Dust is removed and is cleaned with gasoline. Then the vulcanizing cement is applied to the edge of the hole. After about 15 minutes, the second coating of the vulcanizing cement is applied and allowed to dry. Then A small piece of rubber about 5 mm larger than the hole is placed over the hole to be repaired. The wax paper is placed over the rubber. Now put on the vulcanizer for 15 minutes at 128 degrees centigrade. For best result, allow the gradual cooling of the tube by holding it on the vulcanizer. Retrading. Retrading is a special process which involves applying a new tire tread material to old casing and vulcanizing it into place, and only to the casings which are in good condition should be recapped. Recapping or retrading cannot be done on casings which are broken or separated plies. Retrading requires a special equipment. Retrading process. The tire is cleaned and the tread area is roughened by buffing it with a wire wheel. Then a strip of new rubber tread called camel black is to be fed into the recapping machine. Now the machine is clamped shut and heat is applied for the specified time. This vulcanizes the new tread into the old casing. The tire retrading process mainly consists of 4 major processes. They are tire inspection. Inspection to be done for clear surrounding inner liner beds for indenting. Buffing. Buffing is done to ensure adhesion surface. It is done by loading tire on a disc and rotate it by motor and move the rasp, that is file like a device, to and fro by adjusting the cutting feed. Building. Application of bonding given on the crown of the tire with the tire rotating at slow speed, then fix the tread. Bonding. Keep the tire in the lid of the bonder and apply steam for some time to have better bonding between the tread and the old tire. So far in this lesson we have learnt types of wheels, types of rims, types of tires, different tire tread patterns, wheel balancing, vulcanizing. Hope you understood. Till we meet again, goodbye.
Today we are going to discuss about the surveying theory subject. So, actually before going to that one, we should know the what is meant by the survey and why should we go for survey and all this. Normally survey we have to, for every project, before starting any project we should go for the surveying. So, normally one, it collection of data for before starting the project. Second, it may be collection of, it may be as election pre-poll, or it may be as before starting any project we have to collect the many details to design the project details and plans and elevations and etc., and all these things are very essential. When it is connected to civil engineering, it is consists of the making measurements on the earth. Normally these measurements consist two types, one is the linear measurements, another is angular measurements. Normally we can combine both the things as linear measurements and as well as angular measurements for measuring the various things. These linear measurements are normally to measure the distance on the ground, which are called linear measurements. For this we are using tapes, chains and other materials and as well as rods. Angular measurements are the clinometers and as well as compass and other materials, theodolites, etc. Now let us go for the definition of the surveying. The definition of the surveying may be defined as an art of making measurements in the horizontal plane to determine the relative positions of points and objects on the surface of the earth. General classification of survey: geodetic survey and plane survey. Geodetic survey is considering earth curvature into the shape, earth's curvature and shape into consideration to compute the horizontal distance, but without computing the earth's curvature and all these things, it is called plane surveying. Classification based on the nature of the field surveys, that is land surveys conducted on land, open land; marine surveys conducted on water, that is the purpose of navigation or marine; astronomical surveys conducted in space with respect to stars and sun movements. It is more useful for astrologists for their predictions. Land survey again classified into different one. It is one is topographical, cadastral, city and engineering. Under engineering again it is classified into three varieties. One is a reconnaissance, preliminary and location surveys. Land survey, topographical survey. Topographical surveys are conducted to determine the natural features of such as hills, valleys, rivers, streams, lakes and artificial features like roads, railways, canals, farms and villages, all these showing colored map photos at existing rivers. Under this cadastral survey, it is conducted for determining additional details such as boundaries of fields, houses and older properties, pathways, etc. This is normally in the revenue records pertaining to lands. It is exists in MRO offices and collectorate offices and all these places. City survey, it is conducted for laying of plots, streets, construction of water supply systems and sewers. Other things will be come under the city survey. Engineering surveys, it is conducted to collect required data to design engineering structures like plans and designs and calculation of the quantities for requirement of the materials, railways, reservoirs for water supply and drainage schemes, etc. It is again subdivided into two things. One is a reconnaissance survey and preliminary survey. Reconnaissance survey means it is a rough survey and to know various cautions to proceed for detailed survey. Preliminary survey, it is conducted after reconnaissance survey. The uneconomical layouts and points may be deleted along final route. Detailed survey collecting all particulars and to calculate the exact quantities required for the various things. Classification based on the instruments usage. One is chain, second compass surveys, plane table, theodolites and tachometer and aerial survey. Principles of survey. The basic principle of survey to work from the whole to part. This figure shows this is total, it is entire area and you are coming to these points again and coming and finally we are coming to one point. In this principle it is more accurate due to errors are going on diminishing. In other second principle, part to whole, this is here it is a part and we are going on to the entire whole. Here area will be increasing, when area is increased errors going on increase due to enlarging